In the last video, we explored what your cat might be sensing. But that's only half the story, because almost nobody asks the real question. What does your cat actually do with all that information? And the answer changes everything. Your cat isn't experiencing the world moment by moment like you do. It isn't reacting, responding, or improvising in the way humans assume. It's building a continuous model of reality, a system that updates constantly, a system that predicts before it reacts, a system that reduces everything you do into patterns. And once you understand that, your cat stops looking random entirely. It starts looking logical. First, your cat isn't reacting to you, it's forecasting you. When your cat moves before you do something, it doesn't mean it's guessing. It means the pattern has already been recognized. Cats don't learn isolated actions. They learn sequences. Not just what you do, but what usually follows what you do. You sit down, and your cat doesn't just see sitting down. It sees a sequence that might lead to food, rest, attention, or nothing at all. But the important part is not the outcome. It's the probability. You walk toward the kitchen, and your cat doesn't think kitchen as con food. It thinks in probabilities. This movement increases the chance of food-related events. And over time, those probabilities become extremely accurate. Even your micro behaviors get absorbed into that system. The way you open a drawer, the speed at which you move when you're tired versus when you're leaving the house, the rhythm of your footsteps when you're distracted compared to when you're focused. To you, these differences are invisible. To your cat, they are predictive signals. It is not reacting to your actions. It is reacting to what your actions usually lead to. Second, when your cat suddenly freezes in the middle of a room, what looks like confusion is actually computation. In that moment, your cat is not stuck. It is evaluating. Every still moment is a decision point. Is this relevant? Is this safe? Is this worth energy? Because unlike humans, cats do not operate on constant movement or curiosity-driven exploration. They operate on energy conservation with selective activation. Nothing is automatic. Everything is weighed. That pause you see is not emptiness. It is processing. And sometimes the result of that processing is simple: do nothing. What looks like a glitch in behavior is actually the system choosing the lowest cost option. Third, what people call zoomies is not randomness or excess energy, it is regulation. Throughout the day, your cat is constantly in a low-level state of monitoring. Even when it appears relaxed, its internal system is active, tracking movement, maintaining awareness of space, updating environmental expectations, and storing behavioral predictions. This is not stress in the human sense. It is background processing, but any system that runs continuously needs release cycles. So at a certain threshold, that accumulated internal activity gets discharged in a short burst of movement, running, jumping, sudden direction changes, abrupt stops. It looks chaotic, but structurally it is the opposite. It is a reset mechanism, not emotional overflow, system stabilization. Fourth, when your cat stares at you, it is not doing nothing, it is reading micropatterns. Humans tend to think of attention as active behavior, but for cats, observation is passive data collection, small changes in posture, breathing rhythm, muscle tension before movement, shifts in balance that precede action. You often believe movement starts when you decide to move, but your body signals intention before that point, and your cat has learned to read those signals. This is why it sometimes reacts a fraction of a second before you do something, not because it predicts the future, but because it recognizes the early structure of the action. To your cat, intention is not invisible, it is detectable. Fifth, where your cat positions itself is never random, it is spatial strategy. If you map where your cat spends time, patterns appear: elevated surfaces, transitional spaces, edges of rooms, doorways, and points with maximum visibility. These are not comfort preferences, they are control positions. From these locations, your cat is constantly evaluating: what can I observe from here? What areas of movement intersect with this position? Where are the fastest exits if something changes? In other words, your cat is not resting in a room. It is maintaining situational coverage. The environment is not experienced as a room, it is experienced as a map of movement probabilities. Sixth, your cat does not conceptualize you as an individual personality in the way humans do. Instead, it builds a behavioral model, not "this is my owner," but "this is a system with predictable outputs." Your daily routines become structured data points: wake cycles, feeding cycles, movement patterns, attention availability, absence duration, even emotional states become recognizable patterns over time, not as emotions, but as consistent behavioral shifts. Stress is not stress. It is slower movement and irregular timing. Excitement is faster transitions and increased unpredictability. Your cat does not label these states, it stores their sequences. Seventh, when your cat suddenly leaves during interaction, it is not rejection, it is threshold control. Cats operate within stimulation limits. Too much unpredictability, too much interaction, or too much input causes a system recalibration. So instead of escalating, it disengages, not emotionally, functionally. Think of it less like walking away because it is annoyed, and more like reducing system load to restore balance. It is regulation, not reaction. Eighth, what looks like play is actually rehearsal. When your cat chases invisible targets, attacks objects, or ambushes movement, it is not random entertainment. It is structured simulation. Every motion trains timing precision, distance estimation, acceleration control, target tracking, reaction sequencing. Even indoor environments trigger full instinct simulations. Because instinct is not turned off by environment, it is maintained through repetition. Play is not separate from survival behavior, it is the maintenance of it. Ninth, over time, your cat builds a predictive model of you. This is one of the most important parts of its internal system. It does not think in narrative terms like humans do. It thinks in conditional patterns. If X happens, Y follows. If sound occurs, movement follows. If time passes, events occur. And with enough repetition, these chains become extremely accurate. This is why older cats behave differently around their owners. They are not more attached or more calm in a simple emotional sense. They are operating on a more refined predictive model. They are not observing you anymore, they are anticipating you. 10th, timing is not a detail, it is part of the structure. Cats are highly sensitive to temporal consistency. A few seconds of difference in routine can shift expectation accuracy. That is why minor schedule changes can confuse a cat more than major environmental changes. Because the system is not just built on what happens, it is built on when it happens. 11th, humans experience life as discrete moments, a sequence of separate events. Cats do not. Cats experience continuity. Nothing is isolated. Everything is connected. A sound is not a sound. It is the continuation of a sequence. A movement is not a movement. It is the next step in an ongoing pattern. There is no true start in perception, only continuation, which is why behavior often feels so fluid and responsive. There are no breaks in interpretation, only transitions between states. So when your cat freezes, stares, runs, shifts position, or suddenly disengages, it is not randomness, it is not confusion, it is not mystery, it is a prediction system operating on continuous input, constantly updating its model of the world and of you. Your cat is not reacting to your reality, it is reacting to a structured version of it built from repetition, timing, and learned probability. And the most interesting part is this: it has been building that system the entire time you thought it was just acting weird, not to be mysterious, not to be unpredictable, but because that is the only way it can maintain control over a world that is always changing. So, the next time your cat does something that makes no sense to you, do not immediately ask what it is doing. Ask what pattern it has already recognized.